My favorite scene in Queen Charlotte is where she decides, and sorry, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, she decides she's not going to wear the English wedding dress. She's not going to wear her hair kind of neatly pinned up curls. And she comes down the aisle in this like bejeweled and bedazzled dress with this amazingly huge afro and gorgeous crown. Yeah. So it's one of my favorite scenes. She's gorgeous. Like she looks so beautiful and she's kind of standing in her true self. Okay. So this got me to thinking about anti-hair discrimination legislation.
Oh,
so my question for you was a really
all the way there.
Hard turn. So it made me think about people feeling comfortable being themselves.
Yeah.
And part of that, of course, for especially African Americans is being able to wear our hair as it naturally grows out of our head.
As it grows out your head.
As it grows out of the head. And that's everything from braids and locks and twists and everything. So my question for you is, give a guess. How many states do you think have passed anti-hair discrimination or crown acts or laws?
I think it's only going to be like 5. That's a lot of haters out there, yo. It's a lot of haters.
Okay, you are not right. 18 states have passed anti-hair discrimination legislation. California, of course, went first. But even states like the great state of Texas, right now in the Texas legislature, have moved a Crown Act out of the House for further discussion in the Senate. So I think this is really powerful. I think especially for women, Black women who, have to make that hard decision of am I going to show up as kind of the socially acceptable version of myself with straight hair, which of course is not typically natural for us or not. So
were people getting fired? Is that what was happening? Like
no,
your hair is
a lot
kinky, get out of here, pack your bags and keep it moving?
No, but more of like you have to change your hair in order to stay. And it was not only happening to people in the workplace, it was happening to student athletes, kids who are being told you can't graduate if you have locks, you have to cut them. Like there's a really, there's a powerful picture. It was a few months ago of a girl who was in a soccer league and they told her she couldn't wear her braids with beads, that the beads on the end were distracting. And there's this image of her teammates taking out the beads for her so that she can play. So it's those kind of actions. It's not like you're going to be fired, but it's you can't participate. You can't continue to come here unless you change yourself.
And we have Queen Charlotte to thank for this.
Queen Charlotte.
She was the trendsetter.
I'm rocking the fro. I'm doing it.
All right. Well, let's start the show. Hey everyone, this is Luther Palmer.
And I'm Jobina Scott.
And welcome to One Episode Stand, a podcast here to help you figure out what new shows to watch and what to skip.
Each episode we watch and discuss the series premiere of a new television show. And then like the Rolling Stones we are, we move on to the next show.
Everyone is out here having one night stands, and we're having one episode stands. We love them and leave them. We hit it and quit it, and we do it for you, the listeners. Jobina, I have watched several bad shows in the last week. And it just reminded me of why our podcast is important. Because there are 100 new shows a week. And we are just out here going through these shows, trying to help people one episode stand at a time.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching the bad ones for you so that you don't have
to. Right. This week we are talking about Queen Charlotte.
Luther, I have to tell you, when you suggested Queen Charlotte, my heart went into like a complete flutter. I was so happy.
Oh my goodness.
I, of course, was obsessed with Bridgerton. When I saw Queen Charlotte coming out, I did not think there was any way you would want to talk about it on this podcast.
Jobina, I am a professional podcast host.
You are.
I go the places that need to be gone.
Well,
I do the things. I do the work that needs to be done for the listeners. I
appreciate your professionalism, my friend, because now we are reviewing a show that I have been dying to talk about. So Queen Charlotte, of course, is on Netflix. It is a Bridgerton story. So it's kind of a spin-off of Bridgerton. It's giving you the backstory of Queen Charlotte, who is prominently featured in seasons 1 and season 2 of Bridgerton. This is a 55-minute drama that, if you are like me, completely enraptured you.
So I, full disclosure, I watched half of one episode of Bridgerton and was like, oh no, this isn't for me. Like, shout out to Shonda Rhimes, but like, she's not writing her shows with a middle-aged black engineering man in mind. Like, I'm not her demographic. So it's no shade that I wasn't interested in that.
Right.
But tell me this. So you're saying Queen Charlotte was in those seasons?
Oh yeah, she's prominently featured in Bridgerton.
What, like, because in this show, we see this older Queen Charlotte and a younger Queen Charlotte. Where does she?
Yeah, she's always the older Queen Charlotte. So you're kind of at the end of her story. You're seeing her as the actualized Queen of England, the way that she acts as a monarch, like all the things that she does. Intrigue around her life as an older queen, but we don't know any of the story that comes through in Queen Charlotte until you watch it.
And is this king also in the?
Yeah, he appears a couple of times in Bridgerton, but it's really mostly focused on her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about what else you knew about the episode. I mean, the same actress is playing her. The
same actress is playing her. You get a little bit of some other characters' backstory, like Lady Danbury, and actually, is she Viscountess Bridgerton?
Oh, Lady Danbury was in Bridgerton?
Oh, yeah. So there's like a repeating of a lot of the older characters were also in Bridgerton. You mean Queen Charlotte's brother? No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Because he kind of disappeared. Like, he had a very quick...
He was not important other than making this arrangement.
Right. Okay, so how does the show look, sound, and feel? Well, wait, let's go back. What is the show actually about?
Well, the show is about... I'm going to say it's about love. It's about... I'm going to say that. It is about the power of the love between Queen Charlotte and King George that goes beyond his challenges. He definitely is suffering with some mental health issues.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's really struggling with mental health. And I think the show is really mostly about how their love transcends his condition.
Interesting.
And it's also about how she learns to navigate this new society that she's not been a part of. She's German. She's not from England. She's selected to be his wife, without having any say in the matter. And you're watching her navigate that.
Yeah, I would have said the show is about Negroes entering into the royal palace. Like that seemed like it seemed to be like the thing that wasn't said in the first episode, right? These are black people. We've never had black people. I think one person might have mentioned it. We've never had black people. We need more black people because now that we want to act like this was all planned and intention. At one point they said she's dark.
Well, they said she's brown.
She's browner than we thought.
Browner than I thought. Yeah.
I'm thinking y'all must not know black people because she is not brown
she's not
in
brown
the
at
least.
all.
If she's brown, then I'm chocolate.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's fair, kind of like you.
Yeah, and if so can I call myself brown now?
No. No, you cannot. That would
Shonda
be a step
Rhimes
too far.
gave me license to call myself
she
brown.
Did not.
Where on the brown spectrum are you? What do you call your skin tone?
Brown. I call myself brown skinned.
I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you're not brown.
I am.
You're like a caramel color.
To me, I'm brown. I'm a brown person. My children are brown. I'm brown.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So one time I was at a funeral in this church, and it was a super nice church, and they had these cameras everywhere, and they were like showing, they had this huge screen up front, and they're showing on the screen, what the cameras are seeing sometimes. And I'm looking at the screen, and I say, wow, that guy is really pale, because it's a church full of black people. And I'm like, wow, that guy, like,
he really stands out.
I can see the back of his head. And I'm like, man, that guy is really light skinned. He's really pale. Then I was like, oh, that's me.
That guy is me.
I just never saw myself that light before.
Yeah.
So I think when I'm looking in the mirror, I'm seeing something different than what I look like, and I think you might be too, actually.
But like, so their whole conversation about her being brown, like, of course, it spoke to my heart around colorism and the things that my daughters have it's interesting to see, like, no matter how much you try to socialize kids, like, there just becomes a point where your children realize that they're brown. They're trying to understand how brown they are. And no matter what messages I give, like, there's always that, like, proximity to whiteness and saying, like, am I light?
Yeah.
Or am I dark? And clearly the connotation is that if I'm light, that's good. And if I'm dark, that's bad. And I'm like, oh, God, you guys. Like, Mom has tried so hard.
I wonder I wonder if white families have these conversations, because inevitably children are going to say, are we black? And then they're going to look at their skin and they're going to say, but I'm brown. And then you're like, well, we call ourselves black because 400 years ago, like, people said these are the black, like, it's weird.
Yes.
And then and then in black families, there's always this full range of color, right? And it's like, okay, well, like, she's white. Like, I have a light-skinned daughter, and they're like, well, then she's white. And they're like, no, actually, she's still black.
Right.
As light as she is, she's actually still black, because black, this whole, like, one drop rule, and like, and you're trying to explain to them this at a time when they're just understanding colors and skin tones. Like, they don't really have an understanding of history and time and place. No. So I wonder if that conversation comes up in white families, because white people are not monochromatic, right? There's still a range of colors, maybe not as diverse, clearly, as black people.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they ever have I'm not white. Like, here's a white sheet of paper. I'm not this color.
I'm not this color. No. I don't think so. No. I think they're like, we're white. We are enjoying the privileges of it. Get in the club. You're in the club. You are in the club.
Right. You are in the club. Okay, so how does the show look, sound, and feel? And I guess I'll start by saying, I was listening, and at one point I said, is that Beyonce's Hero? Was it Hero?
Halo.
I was like, is that Beyonce's Halo? And I guess there was like a string quartet playing it. It was like they took modern music and then took it back and had it played in this old English way, which I thought was interesting.
This is the magic of Bridgerton. Like, Shonda Rhimes does this throughout. Like, anytime you're listening to something that sounds like a classical piece, it's usually a modern piece, and they're dancing to it as if it, occurred in their time period, which I think is really cool.
Right. So what other themes came up for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously arranged marriage is a huge theme.
Right.
Like, she is marrying someone she has never laid eyes on. There's this funny part where she is talking to Brimsley, who is like her servant. And she's trying to figure out what's wrong with him. She's like, is he ugly? Is he daft? Is he and she's trying to figure out, like, what things can I work with? Things I couldn't work with. Like, she's like, is he socially inept? Because she has no idea who she was marrying. And that, to me, is maybe a proposition I could not get on board with. Like, I just don't know if I could accept an arranged marriage.
Well, there's all types of arranged marriages, because this one was an arrangement made for political reasons, right?
Right.
What about, would you trust your parents to arrange a marriage for you?
I mean, here's what my parents are going to get right. They're going to get right, like, someone who is kind and someone
long-suffering and patient and virtuous. And,
someone who's hardworking, someone who loves the Lord. Like,
what are they going to get wrong?
I don't know if they have the same taste as I do when it comes to looks. So
really?
I'd be worried that they would be willing to sacrifice. It's not that I don't think they could tell.
Okay.
I think they would be willing to sacrifice. Yeah, they wouldn't prioritize it.
Right. Now,
and for me, that would be really important.
Jobina, you have said many times that your parents had a great marriage and
They
they did it good. I mean, you wouldn't want any of that good counsel.
I would want some of it. I would just need like a lineup of like, it's between these 5 dudes. Like, which one do you find the most attractive?
Do you think they became that way? Or do you think even as youth, they didn't prioritize attractiveness? Or do you, because, old people, they forget how they were when they were young. They became that way. Okay.
They became that way because my mother talks about meeting my dad and like, her assessment of how attractive he was, his assessment of how attractive she was.
Okay,
like,
Dad.
They were definitely attracted to each other.
Right.
But I think that fades away.
Yeah. I was in grad school with an Indian student, and so it was me, and I was, obviously raised Christian. There was a Mormon and an Indian student. So we always had these really interesting conversations about culture and things. And the Indian guy was like, oh, I'm just going to just wait until I finish school and then my parents will arrange my marriage. And he was so relaxed about it. And me and the Mormon guy were thinking like, man, how much time and money would we save if we didn't have to think about dating until after we finished with school? Like, that would save us a lot. I think my parents are a little bit like yours, and that I'm not sure they would pick the woman with the badonkadonk or... I like a woman with a little bit of edge. I'm not sure they would have wanted that. Like, people don't think that my wife has a little bit of edge, but she does, which is one of the things I like about her. Like, I'm not sure my parents would really be up on that type of thing. So I don't know. But so I understand though your classmates' comfort, because here's the thing you can trust with your parents, right? They love you the most of all. They're going into whatever they're going into with your happiness, your long-term happiness in mind, and they know you. Right.
So I can see it. I just can't see it for me.
I also must say about the Indian guy, let's just say that women weren't exactly beating his door down to challenge the to challenge the policy of the arranged marriage. So he was comfortable to just like, I'm chilling, like I'm gonna get this work done, and then we'll figure it out. I don't know. I'm gonna look him up to see if he's got married, because I remember his name and everything. Jobina, here I have this question. Why are Americans so captivated by British royalty? Because this show is set in Great Britain and England. And it's like, can we get away from them? Like why? We fought a whole war to detach ourselves from Britain. Why do we care what Harry and Meghan and Charles... Did you watch the coronation of the new king?
No. I was not in any way interested in the coronation. However, I did watch William's wedding and Harry's wedding.
Why?
And I even watched Prince Charles's wedding back in the day. I don't know. I think it's the opulence. I mean, obviously we know that the wealth is ill-gotten in many ways, but just, I think it's the same reason why we obsess over celebrities. Like, they have a lifestyle that we don't have, are not likely to be able to aspire to. And it's interesting to see how they operate in the world at that level of wealth and then also significance.
But it just seems like with the royal family, like you said, their gains were ill-gotten. These people, at least you can say someone famous did something, right? They became an actor, an actress. These people are wealthy and famous just by virtue of being born.
Yeah.
That is so gross to me. Like I almost get sick to my stomach just thinking about it. Even when I watch this show, all the opulence comes on the backs of people who don't have. And for some reason, I can't separate that ideology from when I'm watching a show. Like, I just can't relax that because inequity is such a big deal in this country, and it occupies and it invades every aspect of our lives. And I think about it all the time. I just couldn't let it go watching this. And that was a little bit of an issue I had with the show, is that they were like, oh, the opulence, oh, look at this beauty. And I'm thinking, but like, that's what I kept thinking. But these servants who are smiling are probably living miserable lives.
Right, and indentured and can't get away from you and
like
all of it.
The one guy had to follow the queen around five steps.
Paces behind.
And then I was blown away when they showed him in the future and he's still doing it. I was like, what the? And the sad reality is he's probably happy to do it because that got him out of whatever shithole he was living in, right? So like he was happy to he that proximity to the opulence, I'm sure he benefited from and helped people out. But it's just like, what is going on?
And yet we can't get enough.
We cannot get enough of this freaking royal family. Get out of here. That's my get all the way up out of here. Okay, all right. More or less, what would you like to see more of or less of?
Okay, I love the fashion in Bridgerton. Like,
now
I just think it's so beautiful.
Jobina, you're on record as saying you don't like period pieces.
I don't. I do not. This is the only period piece I can tolerate.
Are all about fashion. Like that, the whole purpose of a period piece is about the fashion.
Well, and that's really all I'd be interested in any other period piece except this one, which is an interesting love story. So I love the fashion. I love all their choices for Charlotte. I love all the wigs and the hair, and I'm here for all of it. And then, of course, I am here for the love. I think that the love story that's going to develop between Charlotte and George is going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, and I am here for it.
It was interesting because in this episode, they did have a moment where it was very beautiful and there was all this connection. And then the show kind of ends on this little bit of a schism. He, let's just say he gets her a gift. I'm not going to try to ruin the whole thing.
Right.
Although I think people have probably seen this. But anyway, he gets her this gift. It is not a gift that she wants. It is not a gift that she likes. And it made me think, like, are you a good gift giver?
No, I'm not. I'm not. Here, no, let me let me say this. I'm a good gift giver for anyone under the age of 10. If you,
but that is the easiest demographic.
Yes, but I'm the mom who notices that my son really likes this obscure character on Toy Story. And I'm going to be the one to find it and give it to him and make him happy. Like, I am really good at gift giving for individuals under 10, especially if you once lived inside of my body.
You could give him any character from Toy Story and he'd be happy.
And he would be overjoyed. But he he thinks that anything he's interested in was mass produced at some point and that I should be able to find it. So I enjoy being able to find things that for him that he really wants. But like, I need clues for people who have most of the things that they need.
Yeah.
Like my husband has a lot of things. He has a lot of clothes. He buys himself things that he wants. And so it's sometimes hard for me to know, well, what do I get him? And most of the time I just ask him what he wants.
Now, some couples do big gifts for Christmas and birthday and Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, and some couples just pat each other on the back. Yeah. And there's no right way to do it, right? Like where in the spectrum do you fall?
I think we're kind of moderate. Like we do something big at Christmas, something big on our birthdays, but like that's pretty much it. Mother's Day and Father's Day will do something smaller, but again, like I don't know, when you have 3 kids, you got to do the gift giving for them. But now, what kind of gift giver are you? I
would say I'm an okay gift giver. I'm just okay. My wife is an excellent gift giver, and
my husband is amazing at it.
Yeah, and I want to match that energy, and sometimes I do. Like every now and then I'll rise to the occasion, and other times I'm like, oh, here's a can of applesauce. Because I know you like apples, and I know you like sauce, so I combine the two to give you applesauce.
Fabulous.
So I don't always hit, but I try.
My husband is the guy who notices that I smelled a fragrance in a magazine. You know how they have he'll be like, I saw you, you smelled it, you liked it, I bought it, and I'm like, you are amazing. Like, how did you even notice this? He's so good.
Yeah, I don't notice. I'm not a noticer.
You're not a noticer.
No, that's my bad.
Shame.
Okay, marry, kill, or one night stand. I'm going to ask you about the king. Let's go right to the king.
Oh, he is gorgeous.
Really?
He is so handsome.
He's a heartthrob.
He's a heart, like his smile. Get out of here. He's super handsome.
Okay.
And I would totally marry him, even with the challenges that he faces.
Right.
I would marry him. I mean, Charlotte kind of came through, her energy kind of matches the energy I would have. Like, look, I'm going to make sure that he's happy. Like, I got this. Like, I'm your Venus. Here we go. So I would totally marry him. He's beautiful.
What about fame and marrying someone who's famous and having to be in the public eye? Could you do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I would probably approach it like some of these famous wives who just don't spend a lot of time in the limelight. Like they're just I went with you to the Oscars and then you didn't see me again for a year. Like that's probably how I play it.
I think Denzel's wife kind of plays it that way, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that I could identify her in a lineup. I don't know what she looks like. Oh, what's her name?
I don't know. Paula?
Cookie is Magic's wife, right? Cookie
yeah,
Johnson.
Her name might be Paula, or that's not right.
You would play the Paula Washington role.
If that's her name, yes.
I don't have any interest in fame. I would not that could maybe even prevent me from being interested in someone if I knew, because there's so much pressure on these couples because you don't have any freedom. You don't have any privacy. You just everything is public and the public is looking to tear you down. That's not interesting to me at all.
This is what you do then. You go and you soothe your wounds with all of your money.
Right.
I'll take it any day. I'm like, I feel so bad today. Let's go to the south of France.
Right. Let's rent this $60 million yacht.
Exactly.
To get away.
It'll make me feel a lot better.
I hear that.
Okay, so for you, of course, I'm going to give you Queen Charlotte.
I thought Queen Charlotte was attractive, and I get the benefit of seeing Queen Charlotte what she looks like when she's older too, and she was still very beautiful.
She ages well.
Also, let me go back to this idea of themes, because Queen Charlotte had a mother-in-law in this first episode. And the mother-in-law was she was also the queen. She was brash and she was curt and she was loud and she was controlling.
Yep.
And then you also see Charlotte sort of become this same model of a queen. So I sort of suspect that the show is going to also be about growing into the things, maybe the things that you see modeled, right? This is what I see modeled as the behavior of a queen, so this is what I'm going to be. Do you ever feel like you're becoming your mother in some ways that you didn't expect?
For sure.
For sure.
For sure, in some ways. I definitely am not a carbon copy of my mother. I think we may have talked about this before, but my parents were always teaching a lesson of some sort. Most important thing you need to learn about blah, blah, blah is that I don't do that. I'm my kids are going to be bereft of sayings when they want to say, my mom used to always say, there's not going to be any material because I just don't.
Jobina,
I remember those things, but they weren't effective.
You're saying that, but your kids are probably going to be like, oh, she always said this. She always said this. There's probably something happening that you're not fully aware of, that's your go-to, and your kids are going to be rolling their eyes.
Well, it's the rite of passage for every kid, but I don't think so.
Right.
But I will say that one of the ways that I am very much like my mother is very driven. She is an accomplishment sort of person. She likes to be accomplishing things. She likes to be doing things. She doesn't sit still very much. Even at 84, she's I'm mentoring, 84. I'm writing a book. She's very active and she likes to accomplish things. And I think I'm very much the same. I think my kids see a working mom who's busy a lot, who works hard toward goals that. In that way, I'm very much like my mother.
Has your mother ever heard a single episode of One Episode Stand?
No. No. We would have to get through to okay, what is a podcast? How do I get it on my phone?
Right.
So no.
Right.
No,
right.
I think she would be proud of how she has been featured because I love and admire her so much. But unfortunately, I'll have to give her this shine outside of this platform.
I mean, octogenarians, like when you're 80, you're just not looking for new technology. You're just not here for it.
Yeah. I remember when like laptops became a thing and my dad was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not.
I'm out on laptops.
It ends here. Like it ends here. I'm not adopting any additional technology.
Like who draws the line at laptops? Like,
he was like, I'm not. Nope. I'm not going to do it.
That is perfect. So I would marry Queen Charlotte.
You would marry her. She's beautiful.
I would marry. She's beautiful. She's smart. She's funny. She's witty. She's all the things. I'd marry her, and then I would probably do what Harry and Meghan did. And I would read what do they do? They
resign from their formal whatever.
Yeah, I would probably.
You'd be like, let's get out of here.
Let's get the hell up out of here because these people are crazy. Okay, all right. Anything else we need to hit before we ask the big question that everyone knows the answer to already?
No.
Are you going to continue watching Queen Charlotte, or was this a one episode stand?
This was not a one episode stand. In fact,
of course not.
I have been on all the episodes through to the end. I loved every minute of it. Not surprising. What about you?
Now, me, because I'm a professional podcast host, I watched one episode. Well, no, I watched an episode and a half. Actually, I did. Because I wanted to see where is the show going. So I watched an episode and a half. It's fun. I haven't gone back to it. And maybe I will. I kind of got caught up in some other shows. But it's I don't know. It's okay. It's not bad.
Watch it. It's so good. It has some twists and turns that you cannot anticipate with 1.5 episodes. I'm going to tell you to go all the way through.
I think maybe what might compel me is the racial component of it. Just sort of seeing how Shonda Rhimes treated that and how that presented itself and manifests itself throughout the show. So that may be something I'll go back to. We'll see. We shall see. Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay, well, thank you all for listening to One Episode Stand. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to the podcast to be alerted when new episodes drop. If you're listening on iTunes, please give us a rating. It helps others find our episode. The theme music is Freedom by Hip Hop. No, the theme music is Freedom by Paradox Hip Hop. And we'll be back next time with another series premiere. Jobina, let's end on this. Every show has a moral. What was the moral of this episode?
The moral of this episode for me is be yourself. Rock your fro. Wear your bedazzled dress. Do it in a strange land where everybody is expecting you to conform. Be yourself.
My moral, we didn't talk about this, but my moral is lean into your, what would you call it? Like, because there was a character in this show that was cast specifically to be ugly.
Oh, Lord Danbury.
Lord Danbury. And when I looked up the guy, his name is Cyril Inri or something like that. He's not an unattractive person.
He's not, no.
But he said, I'm going to play the hell out of this role. Give me all the ugly, and they gave him the ugly, and he played it well. I enjoyed his character. He was married to another, I guess what I would imagine, another arranged marriage, right? Lady Danbury.
Lady Danbury.
So yeah, my moral is if you're a struggling actor, look for some ugly parts. Like look for some roles where you can be ugly because they pay the same. All right, everybody. See you next time.
Bye, everybody.